So I think a very prominent motivator would be living longer, definitely near the top of my list. But aside from that, I think it's also really beneficial for the future since being healthy would probably make the transition into my older years much easier. And to me, staying healthy means that I can move my body the way I want it to. I can feel strong and full of energy, and that would give me the ability to do the things that I want to do. It could be traveling, working, studying, anything.
There's several things that motivate me to try and be healthy. One of the first things is my friends and family, especially if I've told somebody that I'm going to be exercising at a certain time, or if I've made plans with somebody to be exercising together, then I feel like there is an expectation that I will be doing that healthy practice at that time, and that helps compel me to get up and get out. Another thing that helps is I downloaded this app called Charity Miles, which donates 25 cents to charity for every mile that I run. And this motivates me because it gives me the sense that I'm doing something for the greater good. Of course, I also acknowledge the main reason that I should be staying healthy shouldn't be for the benefit of other people. The main reason should be for my own good. And I do this by actively choosing activities that I really enjoy doing, such as running. And this helps make one of my main motivations intrinsic, as it becomes self-satisfying and I really enjoy doing that particular activity.
So this year I really want to focus on continuing to stay healthy and active, eating healthier, staying away from the junk food as much as I can. Another point would be to improve my cardio. I've always hesitated a little when it comes to cardio, so I think it's a great year to challenge myself. And third point would be to sleep more. My sleep schedule is definitely a bit messy. I probably am not getting the amount of sleep I should be, so I want to focus on that since I do find myself getting tired a little bit easier these days.
One of the first strategies I would recommend is connecting with friends and family who are supportive and have similar goals. This personally keeps me accountable for my progress and allows me to learn from others. Since there's no one-size-fits-all approach to health, it's nice to learn from your peers about what works and what doesn't work and just gain some overall inspiration. The second thing I like to do that keeps me on track is trying new things so I don't lose interest. When it comes to exercising or eating healthy, I like to switch up my options so that I remain engaged. This can look like testing out new soup and salad recipes for dinner with my family and encouraging my family to actually eat healthy with me so I stay on track. Also going for a walk on a new trail every week or every day, and then also switching up my exercise routine between indoors and outdoors, especially now since the weather is nice. The third thing I like to do is write down my progress. Sometimes I take a few minutes out of my day to do this, but other times I forget and I should be doing it more often. This just allows me to self-reflect on what went well in my day and what didn't, and areas that I could potentially improve. If you don't have the time to buy a journal, you can even write it down on a scrap sheet of paper. I would definitely recommend getting some sort of journal or notebook so that you can write down your progress, because it's great to look back at it over time and see how you've changed.
I recall seeing a quote somewhere that ran something like, we often hear people tell us and encourage us that we can do something, but we don't often hear people tell us that it's okay even if we can't do something. And I wish I remember where I saw the quote so I can properly credit it, but I don't. But I feel like that last part, that last message is something that I really need to hear and a lot of people around me really need to hear. The idea that it's okay even if we don't reach our goals. I also think that not reaching our goals shouldn't be framed as failure necessarily. It's probably just more of an indication of a path that doesn't work, or perhaps a goal that's not right for us. We can always go on ahead and figure out another way to reach the goal, or perhaps another goal to reach. And I know all of this is easier said than done. I know personally I don't always succeed in doing everything that I'm saying right now. A lot of the times it's easy to take failures personally and hardly, but it's important to keep on trying and figure out what didn't work. And that's the first step in figuring out what will work.
One of the tips I would recommend when it comes to overcoming failure if you don't meet your health goals is to just get up and try again. Failure is not the end of the road, and we need to get better at normalizing failure. It's okay to make mistakes, but I would say the biggest mistake I've made on certain situations is giving up just because I didn't get something right the first time. Remember that you started your health journey for a reason, and nobody said it would be easy. We are all trying our best, and that is the most important thing. Taking time to self-reflect is incredibly helpful in pinpointing areas of success and areas where we can improve and try something new. We often forget to acknowledge the things that we are doing well in life, and so just because something doesn't work out the way you want it to doesn't mean that the entire experience needs to be negative. There are definitely positives you can take away from every experience, so I would recommend you look at the positive moments, stay optimistic, and just try again, because we're all in this together.
So if it's school-related stress, I like to confront it a little bit more directly. If it's about assignments and homework, I like to list out all the things I need to do and start checking them off as I go. At first, it seems a little bit more stressful because you're looking at all the things that you have to do, but I tend to procrastinate, so this is a great way for me to actually get things done and start chipping away at my stress. I also tend to turn to my hobbies. It could be watching TV, drawing, reading, or going on walks, anything that'll give me a breather and put me in a different headspace for a while. And sometimes when I'm stressed, I feel like I've driven myself into a corner with my own thoughts. So I also tend to seek advice if it's something that requires an opinion from my family or friends, so I can get a fresh perspective.
One of the things that I like to do to cope with stress and take my mind off of things for a while is to paint. As you can see here, this is something that I've been working on, and this is actually on the wall of my rental house, and I will be covering it up because I suspect my landlord won't be too happy about it. But I think that brings me to my next point, which is whatever activity I choose to engage in for stress relief, it's the process that's cathartic and therapeutic for me, and not necessarily the end product that I'm aiming for.
One piece of advice that I would recommend is to remember that self-care is important. When we are stressed, we tend to put an immense amount of pressure on ourselves to solve a problem or to get organized, forgetting that these things take both time and a lot of energy out of us. Rest and recharge whenever you feel stressed, and take small bits of time out of each day to self-reflect and plan accordingly. Mobilize your support system and surround yourself with people who inspire you to do better. Rome wasn't built in a day, and it's important to recognize that stressful situations often don't resolve themselves overnight. Allow yourself the space and the time to breathe and figure things out at a reasonable pace rather than rushing to figure things out and burning out at the end.